Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever felt like you're living in pause mode? Like life is happening around you, but you feel kind of stuck, unable to really move forward.
Yeah, or maybe even like you're unraveling a bit.
Exactly. Losing your sense of self, maybe watching other people seem to bloom so easily while you're just, well, you feel like you're waiting for your life to finally kick off.
Mm-hmm.
If any of that sounds familiar, then this deep dive is definitely for you.
It's a really powerful feeling, isn't it? That sense of being on the sidelines.
Yeah.
And the material we looked at today, it offers such a profound reframe for that exact experience. It basically reminds us you are not behind. You are simply becoming.
I love that. Simply becoming.
Yeah. And what's fascinating, I think, is how this whole perspective challenges the common, often kind of superficial ideas about self-love and self-healing, self-growth,
Right.
revealing them instead as this soft, slow, painful, yet beautiful journey.
And that's exactly why this feels so important to talk about.
Right.
Because let's be real, true healing isn't always, aesthetic or Instagram ready.
Oh, definitely not.
It's often messy. It's deeply personal. And the insights we gathered, they really drive this home with some powerful examples.
Like what?
Well, like sometimes it's just quietly crying in your room when everyone else thinks you're totally fine.
Mm-hmm. Been there.
Or having the courage to walk away from people who honestly felt like home, even when it just tears you up inside.
That's a hard one.
It really is. And sometimes, maybe this is the most profound, it's just showing up for yourself on some random Tuesday when the world feels way too loud and all you want to do is hide.
Just getting through the day. Yeah.
Okay, so let's unpack this first idea then. This concept that self-love is often marketed almost like a product.
Right. The bubble baths, the candles, the new lipstick.
Exactly. Buy this, feel better. But here's where it gets really interesting. Our source material states really clearly that real self-love is much deeper than that.
It really does. It describes true self-love as, well, discipline, honesty, making decisions that actively protect your peace.
Even when those decisions disappoint other people. That's key.
That is key. And it raises a really important question, I think. Why do we, as a society, why do we associate self-love so often with these external comforts instead of, internal fortitude, resilience?
That's such a critical question. Maybe we're just conditioned to want the quick fix, the immediate gratification.
Could be.
And that deeper work of self-love, it often feels like, actual work,
Yeah, it demands something from you.
It really does. It requires this level of inner scrutiny and boundary setting that isn't always comfortable. It's choosing what actually serves your long-term peace over just, immediate pleasure or what other people think.
Mm-hmm.
And the insights we studied, they really emphasize this. They show what self-love really sounds like. It's saying things like, I deserve rest, not guilt.
Okay.
Or I am allowed to grow beyond who I used to be.
It's a big one, letting go of the old self.
Huge. And internalizing that, I can be a work in progress and still be worthy of love. It's that really profound act of finally choosing yourself after maybe years of putting everyone else first.
Yeah.
And just learning to sit with your own silence.
Yeah.
Without needing constant distraction. Just be okay with yourself.
Sitting with yourself. Wow. Okay.
Now, if true self-love is this sort of ongoing, sometimes uncomfortable discipline, how does that mindset then impact our journey of self-healing?
Good connection.
Because we often approach healing with a similar expectation, right? Like, we want that quick fix, too.
Totally. There's this really common misconception that healing is just a straight path. You grieve, you journal, you meditate, and then boom, you're healed. All neat.
Yeah, tied up with a bow.
Exactly. But the information we've been digging into, it makes it abundantly clear that's just not how it works. Not usually.
No.
It's far more cyclical. It's much more like that soft, slow, painful, yet beautiful journey we mentioned earlier.
Right, loops back.
Absolutely. The reality, as this perspective really highlights, is that healing comes in waves.
Mm-hmm.
Some days you feel incredibly powerful, like, yes, I've got this. You feel like you've made huge progress.
Yeah, conquering mountains.
Exactly. And then other days, maybe you find yourself kind of spiraling back into old habits or feeling suddenly triggered by something you really thought you'd moved past.
Oh, that feeling is the worst. Like you failed.
But here's what's crucial and actually really empowering. This isn't a setback. It's framed as a moment of, heightened awareness.
Awareness.
Yeah. It's about being able to say, with compassion, hopefully, okay, this wound hurts again today, but but I know how to hold myself through it now.
That's the shift.
That's the massive shift from being just overwhelmed by the wound to knowing how to hold yourself through it. That shows immense internal resilience, you know, the kind we might not even realize we're building until we're in that moment.
So how does that knowing how to hold yourself really translate into progress for you listening?
Well, I think
It translates into this really profound transformation of your personal journey. The old you, let's call it, did what they needed to do just to survive, right? Often using coping mechanisms that, well, maybe they don't serve you anymore.
right. They got you through then, but not helpful now.
Exactly. But the new you is actively learning to thrive, not just survive. And you can genuinely see the progress when you look back, even if it doesn't feel like it day to day. The material we absorbed puts it beautifully. You are not who you used to be. You are softer, smarter, safer in your own skin.
Safer in your own skin. I like that.
It really highlights that even in those moments that feel like a spiral, like you're going backwards, you're actually meeting them with new tools, with deeper self-awareness. That is progress.
Yeah, it's progress even when it feels like regression.
Which brings us to self-growth. You know what's kind of wild that the material points out?
What's that?
So much of our most significant growth, the really profound stuff, it goes completely unnoticed by other people.
That's true. We expect applause sometimes, don't we?
We totally do. But those quiet shifts, like the day you finally spoke kindly to yourself instead of that harsh inner critic.
Yeah.
Or the night you chose sleep over, I don't know, texting a toxic ex.
The hard choice.
Or even just, the morning you managed to make your bed when your mind felt heavy and anxious.
Yeah.
Those moments rarely get a standing ovation.
No one's clapping for that.
Yeah.
But those tiny choices, as you call them, they're so incredibly significant, aren't they?
Absolutely.
When you step back and look at the bigger picture, what this really illuminates is that these quiet, consistent actions, that's what actually builds a life rooted in love and intention.
It's the foundation.
It is. And it's not really about shedding your old self to become someone totally new, but more about remembering who you were before the world told you who to be.
Oh, I love that framing. Remembering.
Yeah, like you're excavating that authentic core that maybe got buried under layers of expectations and, societal programming and all that stuff.
Absolutely. And the examples of this quiet growth are so subtle, yet so powerful, and I think really relatable. Like, you start saying no without feeling you have to write a 5-paragraph essay explaining why.
Right. Just no.
Just no. Or you stop abandoning your own needs and boundaries just to feel accepted by a certain group or person.
That takes courage.
It really does. You find your voice to speak up for yourself, even if it shakes a little bit at first. You learn to soften where maybe you used to be rigid. And ultimately, through all these tiny, consistent choices, you rise. You rise into a more authentic version of yourself.
Quiet work that echoes loud internally.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which leads to another key point. Sometimes the deepest growth comes not from adding something new, but actually from courageously letting go.
Ah, yes. The letting go part.
Yeah, and the sources we looked at, they identify some really crucial things to release.
They do. The insights suggest letting go of, people who consistently hurt you. That's a big one.
Huge.
Letting go of the person you thought you had to be, maybe to please others or fit in.
The mask.
Yeah, releasing those rigid timelines we put on our lives. Shedding external expectations. And crucially, letting go of that lingering guilt for past decisions or things you can't change.
It feels like giving yourself permission.
It is.
Yeah.
Explicit permission to walk away from chaos, even if that chaos feels weirdly familiar or comfortable. Permission to outgrow people, which happens.
Yeah.
And even permission to disappoint others if it means finally honoring yourself.
That last one is tough for a lot of people, disappointing others.
It really is. But it brings up another critical consideration here. How do we reframe that often negative idea of loneliness that can come with letting go and creating space? What's your take on that?
That is such a powerful challenge to the usual narrative, isn't it? Because our material, it reframes loneliness not as like a failure or some void you have to immediately fill,
Right.
but rather as space, like essential fertile ground,
Yeah.
an environment where the new you is carefully and intentionally built.
So not emptiness, but potential.
Exactly. It's not an absence. It's an active, deliberate choice sometimes. Cultivating solitude for self-discovery, for growth, embracing the quiet that you actually need for those deep internal shifts to happen.
Creating space to become.
Precisely. So wrapping this up, what does all this mean for you, the listener, right here, right now? This whole journey of becoming Well, it doesn't really have a final destination, does it?
No finish line.
No. You will keep evolving, keep shedding old layers, keep blooming into new versions of yourself. It's truly a lifelong process of unfolding.
And, in the midst of all that continuous evolution, the perspective we've explored today really encourages you to just, pause,
Yeah.
breathe.
Yeah. Take a moment. Truly acknowledge your effort,
Yeah.
your presence in this journey, messy as it might be, and the incredible resilience of your own heart. It's a powerful message to try and internalize. You are very likely doing better than you think.
We're often our own worst critics.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you are actively becoming someone your past self would undoubtedly be incredibly proud of.
So maybe just take a deep breath right now and perhaps whisper these powerful affirmations to yourself. Just let them resonate inside. I am allowed to take up space. I am allowed to start over.
Yes.
I am allowed to be soft and powerful at the same time.
Beautiful. You are not broken. You are actively rebuilding.
Right.
And maybe that's the truly provocative thought to carry with you from this deep dive.
Yeah.
The quiet, continuous strength found in your own ongoing transformation. Always discovering, always becoming.